Hey, what's up? Welcome to another edition of the Bourbon Rookie, where in honor of the Metallica concert that I went to last week, I figured it'd be fun to do a double dip of the Metallica cigar M81 Blackened and pair that, double dip that essentially with their whiskey, the Blackened, which I think is in its second year. Last year's batch, I think, was the Weller batch, which was going for well over $100. I think it's still around 150. Depends on where you're at. This one was about $44 in my local store. Batch number 134. It's a blend of rye and bourbon, 90 proof, and finished in black brandy casks. It doesn't really break down the whiskeys that are in here. I guess it's sourced, I would assume. Just other than that, just says it's bottled in Columbus, Ohio, but I would imagine that it's sourced and then finished in those brandy casks. But I figured this would be a fun pairing. Now, the cigar in itself is basically just a combination of, what do you got here? You got Maduro. It's basically a Maduro cigar. It's got the wrapper from San Andreas that I happen to like. It's being used in a lot of different cigar blends now. So basically, the wrapper is Maduro from Mexico, San Andreas Valley. The binder is Connecticut River broadleaf, and filler of Nicaraguan and Pennsylvanian broadleaf tobacco. So you can get all this on the Drew Estate website, as well as the Blackened Whiskey website. All common stuff. And we're going to pair that. We're going to pair these two. I'm going to see if these two are actually meant to kind of go together. Never know. Only one way to find out. So we'll be back. So before I go outside to light up my cigar, I figured let me get into this a little bit, because I don't have a cigar room in the house. Wish I had one like Jeremy. What's his name? Jeremy Sears. You ever look at his videos? He's got the Jeremy Sears After Hours, which he's got like the. I mean, he lives in Florida. You know, he needs a smoke. I guess you need your own cigar room to smoke cigars down there year round, because, you know, but his cigar room, they're sick. He's got like triple dehumidifiers and all kinds of things to keep the smell and smoke out, which I don't have. So, and you know what else I don't have? A glass. So anyway, this was a nice and easy bottle to open, which I always like. The pour seemed to be pretty good. All right, we're doing a lot of comedy. We got a lot of comedy going on here today. So with that, let's see how. Well, this is just ethanol right off the bat. Now, the reviews that I've seen online, I'm sure you've seen them too. This didn't really get a lot of favorable reviews as opposed to the I think it was last year's Weller edition. This might need to open up a little bit, but definitely getting a lot of, for me, an ethanol presence, huge up front. And color's fairly light on this. There's the camera. Hello. Color's light. Doesn't seem too oily. I mean, the oil's not really running out the glass or anything like that. There's a little bit of a dankness to it. A little bit like a dank wet basement, which I would attribute to the brandy casks. But the initial impressions are, for a 90 proofer, there's definitely an oak presence. It's oak, ethanol, a little bit of a vanilla, like that dank scent, wet basement that I'm getting from the brandy casks, and an oak. Did I say oak? Repeat myself. Cheers again. Not bad. Not great. Definitely a harsh. It's definitely harsh. Especially for a 90 proof. It kind of drinks like a 100 proof. Making the eyes water a little bit. There is a nice oak, brandy. There's a little bit of that brandy. It's not horrible, but like it's not great. It's kind of like a little bit of that, but maybe it needs to open up. This might be one of those bottles that'll sneak up on you. I just opened it, so I just wanted to give my first initial impressions upon opening of this before I get into the cigar, because the cigar is going to dramatically affect the palate. So one last look before we go outside, and well, that's the other thing. Let's see how this guy is. Not a lot there other than just the smell of cedar. It's roll tight. I mean, construction wise it's okay. There's not a lot of heavy veins in here, which I like. It's pretty good. You know, I would assume, and I wonder, that these are probably what James Hetfield is smoking on the sidelines. When you watch a lot of his videos, he smokes before he goes up and sings. And this it doesn't say that this is it, and maybe it could be. But it's just mainly on the, a lot more, it's a lot sweeter on the head of the cigar, which is closed. But alright, enough of that. So far the overall impressions of this are pretty good. Now this cigar, on their site, they usually have it for about $10. I think in my market I paid about 14. Not too bad of a price point. And if I could get it for 9 or 10, and this turns out to be something special, then I'd be buying that all day long. So let's get out and find out. So I'm through the first third of my Blackened M81 cigar, and I got to tell you that the first light, I got lemon, a taste of lemon into cedar. Cedar being for me, the predominant flavor profile through the first third. There were some nice flavor transitions into a nut, like an almond or a nutty note. I'm starting to get that hint of coffee, like a black coffee with a slight cocoa to it. For a Maduro profile, I'm getting very light on that right now. On the retrohale in the sinuses, I'm mainly getting nut and a creamy nut, creaminess, and now a little bit of a cocoa profile. It's actually, the flavor changes are very subtle. So this cigar, I wanted to concentrate on a little bit. It's almost deserving of its own review. It's not bad. It's not in my normal wheelhouse, but I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed by it. It's not harsh on the palate whatsoever. There is a certain savoriness to it, which I think is going to fare well with the whiskey or even black coffee in the morning. This is like one of those midway cigars where I wouldn't say it's complex in strength, but it's definitely so far full bodied with the flavor changes. So, and you know, compared to some of the more recent cigar reviews I've done, mainly with EP Carrillo and some of the others, it's kind of like right up there. And with the price point, that makes it even better. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, let's see how it pairs with the whiskey. It's good. It's good. It's a really good pairing. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's good. I mean, judging by both websites, I'm not sure if it was a three-way partnership in terms of blending and then tasting. But the savoriness from this cigar does complement well with the whiskey, and because the whiskey is as oaky as it is and does have that sweet finish from that barrel, it actually pairs quite well together. I'm actually pretty impressed. So, especially because of the reviews that I've been seeing on the whiskey in and of itself, people weren't overly impressed with that one, with this particular blend. So as a standalone, I could see why some people might pass it up for a cheaper price point or higher proof or something a little less harsh on the palate. But these two pair very well together so far. So let me get through this because I know already I'm going to have a long video, and we'll come back toward the end and see if anything changes. So I'm in the final third of my Metallica M81, my Blackened M81 cigar, and where it's gone a little bit flat with a little bit of the cedar profile and the savoriness, I take a small sip of the bourbon, and it's been a wonderful pairing. The flavors, I mean, the bourbon's opened up nicely. It's gotten sweeter. The oakiness and the ethanol have kind of subsided, and it's been a great pairing where this becomes savory. You take a small sip, and the flavors just seem to complement each other very, very well. I've gotten more into the burnt almond, coffee, cocoa, and leather notes. There's still a little cedar, but because we're in the final third and it gets a little hotter, the burn gets a little hotter toward the end. It's gotten a little heavier, a little sweeter. It's a complex cigar, and it's been overall pretty impressive. And at this price point, I think if I see this at my local shop, I'm going to pick this up. Definitely worth getting a 5 of these online, especially if you can get it at the lower price point. It's definitely worth it, and I think it would pair well with any whiskey of your choosing. But this particular combination has been very, very good. I'm gonna see down the road. I'm gonna start getting into a little bit more blinds, and I've actually been happy with from when I first opened the bourbon to letting it air out and letting the bourbon open up, or the whiskey open up, excuse me. It's actually gotten better, and I wouldn't mind seeing it more in blinds. And I'm surprised it's getting as overlooked as it is. Maybe just because it's being compared to the Weller version from a year ago, or that maybe people are turned off to it. But if you're new to it, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's not going to hit you in the wallet, either one of these. So this is definitely something that, like, if you can get at your cigar shop, the cigar itself, and you can just bring that Blackened in with you at BYOB, it'd be fun for a group to sit down and share their notes on it. So definitely a good job by James. I know James Hetfield smokes cigars, so he might have more of he might be more involved with the blending. Maybe he'll do a different release next year. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't see anything where it was planned out for that. But this cigar was the Toro size, and it comes in a bunch of different other sizes. So this is definitely something I'm going to recommend on both sides. I'm going to recommend the bourbon on its own, or the whiskey on its own. I'm definitely going to recommend the cigar on its own. But if you have it in mind after watching this long review to try this pairing on your own, please do, and let me know in the comments what you thought. And with that, stay frosty, guys. We'll see you on the next review. Recommend all the way around on this pairing. I think that overall, you guys out there would be pleasantly surprised, especially if you're new into the game. So, again, stay frosty. Take care.